Hello, and welcome to another Sunday special here on the GRAPPL YouTube. I'm Benno.
And I'm Matty.
This is weird, becoming a little bit regular, this, mate. We're not
It
no
is.
spotlight this week for anybody waiting for it or listening on the audio, but we did thought we'd jump in, Matty, with a little bit of a chat about the Fed, as you would always want. But yeah, good to be here on a Sunday night. Feels a bit strange.
That you're very familiar with these days, Ben, and dare I say enjoying at the same time.
Oh, we'll get to the show in a minute, mate.
But yeah, it is. It's strange, Ben, but I enjoy it, mate. I like it. I get used to it.
You feeling happy after that Liverpool game today? I am, after Salah came in captain-wise.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to be honest, going into it, I don't know why I thought it'd be a draw. To be honest, I just had it like down as that, but. When we just winning the ball in midfield and actually like putting them to the sword this time instead of missing about 50 million chances like last year, it was like it was a good scene, Ben. Absolutely.
It's been a weekend for you, mate. Fair pay-per-view at a reasonable time. Liverpool game on the Sunday afternoon. It's all coming up, Matty, isn't it?
It's all roses. That's what we want, Ben. If every weekend was like this, we'd be fucking flying.
If Matty was in charge of the GRAPPL schedule, this is what it looked like, folks. We are now WWE Spotlight with a bit of Liverpool chat at the start. But should say, as we're on the free feed here on the YouTube as well, obviously we have got a lot going on over on our end, as we always do. Even though there's no Spotlight this week, there's plenty of content to bury people in. We did record time this weekend. Yeah. Me, you, JP, and Liam. I nipped into Garrett's seat for this one. Next time it'll be yours, mate. Watch your back, and then I'm aiming for Liam's spot. I'm a regular now on time, mate. My show now. It's gonna be wall to wall American stuff by the time the next one comes out. It'll be like 1997, and it'll be about like Tupac and Biggie and the
just Time USA. That's all we're gonna call it.
And Friends on the telly, Seinfeld, all the good stuff.
For me to say this, I'd rather you took my spot than Liam's, because I think without Liam, then it'll fall off. Liam needs to be on every show. He's the linchpin behind it. Does all the great work, putting all the lists together. And
as long as you still get paid. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I still get a little cut, Ben. You know how the deal works by now. But with Liam, with the thing that he comes out with, I don't want to give too much away, but like that Grand Slam, Ben, like where's he plucking that from? Do you know what I mean? The legwork he does to go and get the good stuff is just remarkable. Just great.
Has no one beaten it to us already? People are going mad for it because we've put it on early release for patrons right now. We'll be it'll be replacing Spotlight in the schedule this week on the free feed. So people are going to get that on Tuesday night. You don't have long to wait, but if you do want it early, you can get it on our Patreon. But yeah, it's always fun. But I can't believe no one's stole the idea already. How do we beat them all to it? It's a great concept for a wrestling podcast. No wrestling chat.
That's the one. Like that's ultimately the one. But I always say as well, we go into a little bit of like I just think the pillars are perfect, aren't they? You think everyone can just relate? Obviously, the film, the TV, the sport, and the music. I think that's just nailed. Like, books are never getting in there, Ben, as much as people are trying to push books. Books are not even.
Got Bubble on one with. Yeah, you'll sort yours out. Proper culture, that, mate. That's what you need. Yeah. Maybe a bit of politics corner, JP. Like we'll do a grown-up version of time one day. Bit of politics, bit of books, what's other stuff going outside. I don't know what else could you have on it.
The holidays, I don't know. Sort of travel, yeah, just whatever.
Adult version of time. But no, I had a cracking time on it again. So yeah, like I say, early access up right now for patrons, and we'll be out for everybody on Tuesday. JP's working in the background right now to make the edit work for YouTube, because they don't like it, basically because we just show loads of highlights of EastEnders in the bill. But we'll get it through. We'll find a way. Either way, it'll be uncut over on the Spotify as well. And I do need to mention it while we're talking time. Liam did ask me to give a little plug for the NFL fantasy draft. Apparently that's going on over this week. So he's put a link on the Discord for it. So if you're not in the GRAPPL Discord already, do get over there and join. You're going to be doing it NFL fantasy this year, Matty? Name 2 players. Go.
I mean, I don't think I can. I mean, if I'm not doing the Premier League fantasy draft, I'm going to do the NFL. There's not a chance of that. And I generally couldn't name you 2 NFL.
How many seasons did you last one?
Is Beckham still playing? Is it Odell Beckham? Is he still knocking about? Obviously, you put me on the spot.
I mean, I thought you meant David for a second, mate. So
no, he hasn't made that transition, Ben. Oh no, as well as he can kick and
didn't he? With the tabloids all over that at one point, he was going to be a kicker in the NFL because he kicks free kicks so well. It was absolute bollocks on it, but
just making headlines as always. Although he has turned up on the latest episode of the Hot Ones, David Beckham. So we need to watch that. Probably watch that tonight when he finished.
Is that what Brian did when he was over here? That was he did like Snack Wars.
Not big enough for Hot Ones. He's not big enough for Hot Ones. Ben is our Daniel Bryan. He's all right for Snack Wars though. He's all right for that.
That's it. I keep getting it suggested in my YouTube algorithm, which is a fucking mess. Especially after an episode of time, because the amount of stuff I've been watching now, it's like showing me like it's Heartbeat from 1998, and it's just like it's used to just show me walking tours and stuff about New York and Toronto.
Are you like me though, Ben? Are you proper protective of your algorithm? I am. Like, if Steph starts searching for stuff on our YouTube, I end up just like. But to
when
be fair,
Steph comes to visit, when my Steph comes to visit, it gets confusing here for any freeloaders. But when she comes to visit, like literally, like I'm like, just log in as yourself, will you? Because like for the next week, it'll be like women putting makeup on. It'll be, to be fair, a lot of the same travel YouTube that I'll watch. It'll be like, just those types of like the ones where someone stands to a mic. I might try this at one point. Apparently it works with algorithms, and they hold the mic in front of the mouth rather than having like a real mic, and they have like they kind of stand in front of a whiteboard. It's a whole genre of thing. Right. You could do it for wrestling. You could get you set up as a YouTube star. Usually it's stuff about like celebrities or 90s or 2000s fashion, but you can find you a niche.
We can, and also we need to go back to time a minute. Liam setting the trend, standing up. Don't want to give it to him, but he stood up for the whole entire
standing desk.
Outrageous. I mean, I couldn't do that for half an hour, let alone 3 hours.
If I told you one person on time was going to be on a standing desk, who would you guess?
Of course, it's only going to be Liam. Only.
Head of the card, of course. But yeah, the mini mic trend, as kind of says, there you go.
Okay.
Spoken like a man who knows. But yeah, that's pretty much all the plugs. Just to say again, we are free here on the YouTube, and if you're listening to us afterwards as well, we are live every week, twice a week, normally over on the Patreon. But this month, we're thinking it's going to be 3 times a month, aren't we, Matty? We're calling it the month of experimentation, coming up for the Dealer's Choice month. Yeah, the GRAPPL Lab. That's what you call it. Spin-off from GRAPPL Lads, but it is Dealer's Choice month, so we've been trialing with our Kings of the Mountain, putting our shows out live. So don't hold us to it. We'll see how it goes, but we're going to try and broadcast all of our shows live across the month for patrons on the live tier over there, as well as YouTube members. We are on YouTube. Should throw that out. We did get a new YouTube member today, Marty Ellis. Thank you for joining us. You'll get it as well. Anyone who fancies, there's a button somewhere up or below to join the YouTube. We do take super chats too if you've got any burning questions to ask Matty. But yeah, we're going to be live for Spotlight, the weekend show, and for all 4 of the Dealer's Choice shows this month for our live patrons, Matty. So there you go. They'll get to see when you put us through Edge and Orton, which is your inevitable pick. Just you might as well say it now.
You know what, Ben? It's not. It will come one day, of course it will. But I'll surprise you, like Randy himself out of nowhere with that one. That's what I'll surprise you guys. But yeah, it's going to be a great month. But always a great month to jump in, isn't it? Dealer's Choice month. It's unpredictable. JP.
That's why we do it twice.
Yeah.
Helps the numbers.
It does. I really enjoy it.
So for Dealer's Choice month, we are all 4 of us will get to choose a show that the other 3 cannot refuse and have to join in. So we'll be doing that live for our live patrons through the month. But though out the way, Matty, let's talk.
Yep.
What we're here to chat, which is Bash in Berlin from yesterday. Is that it, wasn't it?
Is that what? Was it all right?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, no. I think this was. I enjoyed this the most, probably, of the 5 match pay-per-views that are filling these outside of the big ones. I thought I had a great time watching this. Like, I haven't been on the Discord. I haven't been on Twitter as much as seeing what...
You shouldn't have been, mate. It would have killed it for you.
Would it? No one enjoyed it then. Yeah, okay. See, I've stayed away from it, but I personally had a great time. I thought every match delivered in what it should have delivered in. I didn't think, and I think there was one especially that really exceeded expectations, which I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed that, because I expected it to be laid out so different as well. And maybe the main event, which we'll touch on, I can see people thinking it went a bit long and it was a bit boring in parts, but overall, I think it delivered what it was meant to deliver. It got Gunther over. It solidified him, beating a legend, giving him the rub in his adopted home country, as the WWE called it. So overall, big, massive thumbs up for me, this, Ben.
They nailed that down, didn't they? It feels like Gunther told somebody off, like, stop saying I'm German. Just like,
yes.
I'm just over the border. I mean, it's a little bit far over the border, but I suppose it's over the border. In Austria is where he was born. They were pushing that. I don't know. I found this like the most. I kind of agree. I think like it had 3 matches I really enjoyed. There's a limit. If everyone's first time tuning in, Matty's the WWE guy. I'm very much not the WWE guy, and I genuinely think there's an upper limit to what a WWE match can do. And I think at least one of these matches came close to that potential upper limit for me. I think the only issue with it was it just felt a little bit, I don't know, like we didn't really achieve much, you know what I mean? It wasn't very newsworthy coming out of it. Maybe that's part of the problem with it, I don't know, building your TV around the bloodline and then they don't travel to these types of shows. I think that can be a problem as well. But it's a fucking easy watch. Like, I was sat watching it at home. I just finished overtime. I ended up getting it. Fell behind. I was booking me flights. I am going to Full Gear this year. £288 return, Matty. New York and Toronto included.
Incredible.
Flight to Toronto and back from New York. Still got it for $288. Air Lingus. Let me know. That could be a new job there. Book people's flights for them using it. I basically spend the entire day on Skyscanner and Google Flights. So I found myself a little bit behind trying to sort that out, and like I just ended up playing catch up through the night watching the pay-per-view back, and I'm not sure if it's good or bad that I feel like I saw the entire pay-per-view at first watch in about 90 minutes. Like, I did skip the women's tag on first watch, and obviously I've rewatched that for today and rewatched a couple of the main events. But it is that easy with these. It's like the constant conversation, isn't it, about like what's better? I say going to Full Gear. Like, I was trying to make plans with Davey Portman and Steph before about how we're gonna possibly go to my favorite bar, Rudy's, after after Full Gear. But are we? What time are we gonna get out of Full Gear? And we'll be in New Jersey. And we're gonna get back to New York. Like, it's fucking that AW pay-per-views run long, and having that experience of going to both.
The pressure as
like,
well.
I always say it. Like, it was the same at Wembley. At Wembley, watching that show, towards the end of the show, there was no time to breathe. It was just match. They clearly were running out of time, whereas WWE will literally give you 15 minutes worth of promos and video footage, and when you're in the arena, I honestly think that's a good thing, because it means you can get a drink, you can go to the toilet, you can not miss anything important, you come back in your seat, rested, ready to go. I actually think it's a much better live experience. At home, though, literally, it's just fast forward fodder, and I was through the pay-per-view in, honestly, what felt like about 90 minutes. Like, at the end, is that good? I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but you almost... Do you feel like you got your money's worth at the end of it when they're that short? I suppose it depends on how well done,
Yeah, it is, and it is only 5 matches as well. So I think these hit the perfect runtime in the note. Like, just over 3 hours this one went, because the main event did go 35 minutes, which, I mean, watching it, that was my only thing. I know I'm jumping ahead there, sorry, to the main event. Like, that's the only negative I can see people having on this show, and we'll come to that when we get up to the main events. But back to these runtimes, but I think these are perfect. 3 hours. Unbelievable. And then it makes them big shows that they do, the big four, even more special, because they're the stadium ones. They're on for 4, maybe 4.5 hours.
SummerSlam wasn't that much longer, was it?
SummerSlam, I think, wasn't SummerSlam about 4 hours? I'm sure it was.
Long? It like
it was. It was. It was. That's what it is. But I think they toned it down on the the selling of Germany as well. They've toned that down a lot, because I think the first one they done, it was just adverts galore for, like, basically on location there to come and have all of these. It was a bit more toned down, but I do like that the video. I should have done it for years, to be fair. Just skip the like pre-shows now, because I like to see the video packages on the show just to keep me refreshed in what's going on. So I like that aspect. It is, though,
video packages and entrances, mate.
This is what we want. This is what we want, mate. But it is. I honestly, like, I can't, like, stress enough how much I enjoyed this show. I really, really did.
I felt it was a good show. If you want my overall take, a little bit inconsequential, but an easy watch. I would say, of these international shows we've had, which we had a good run of them last year as well, which coincidentally ended around this point in the year last year as well. It felt the most house show of them, but maybe that's just, the normality of, doing these shows now, you know what I mean? Like,
don't get
obviously
me wrong.
Paris and Berlin aren't the same, but, it's the same kind of vibe, innit?
Don't get me wrong, Ben. I got 5 out of 5 on the predictions. I get that side. He was not like, we all knew what was going to happen, but I always think sometimes that's okay. Like predictable. You don't have to be just shocking all the time for the sake of it. I think sometimes you need them cards where it's like, right, this is going to happen. It delivered on that. We'll move on to the next one. I think that's fine. Don't do it every time. Don't get me wrong. But this one just felt right, that we knew what was going to happen. Everything that happened should have happened as well. And we move on to the next one. Fine.
Well, we'll get into the show itself, and we'll talk everything on this packed 5-match card. If you mixed their feelings in the chat there in the comments, but yeah, we started out, Matty. Did it shock you that Cody was first out?
The opener world champion. This is what we're going with.
You're going to be going with this. As soon as it happened, I was like, oh, fuck's
like
sake.
Like third time, he's only made events
because he keeps working mid carders. That's the problem.
He's the star, though. Ben, he should be lifting these up.
Should he? Yeah, like Roman did Jey so last year. Yeah,
as someone said,
anyway,
Roman Reigns never had a championship match that wasn't the main event. event, and that
I
would.
mean, he barely had any championship matches, mate.
Oh,
so
come on,
not hard, is it?
No,
but it makes sense, Cody. Obviously, I think you get it's the good and bad of having two world titles, and it's the same thing we were talking about it on the preview and the weekend show. Like, the problem is, you think, oh, Cody should be working higher value people. Well, who's on that list? CM Punk, busy with Drew McIntyre. Gunther got his own world title. You know what I mean? Roman, we're doing bloodline nonsense. So that's maybe some of the problem with having two world titles. But yeah, he does just kick things off with Gunny being in the main event, and yeah, him and Kevin Owens. What did you make of it, Matty? I thought it was a good enough WWE story type match, capital letters story. I think it suffered. You said there about the pick'ems being predictable. It suffered from, I think, the problem that a couple of these matches had, and that, I mean, there was no doubt the winner. 38,000 minutes into the Cody Rhodes and Gunther match, it was like, all right, lads, Randy's not winning here. You can't fool me. Can we just go to the finish? Like, there was an element of that here as well. But we've been critical, and I've been critical of the Ospreay, oh, I'm scared to major him kind of story, and there was a lot of that here, wasn't it? That was the story they're telling with the Cody bum knee. I liked the go home promo on SmackDown. It gave it a little bit of needle, that real life like injury and an issue, gave it a little bit more juice, and yeah, all in all, thought it was a decent opener for the WWE World Heavyweight title. But you go first, mate. Your mileage might vary. What did you make of this one?
I think this was. I'm usually a bit down on Cody on the sly. I think this was his best match in probably since he won the title. I mean, I like the AJ match in
there with the worker to help him out, wasn't he, mate?
He was. He was in there with another good worker. But I did really like this. I thought it was babyface, good wrestling as it started, which it should be, and we always knew that story would come into it with the knee, and Kevin Owens was always going to have that dilemma of should he, pull the trigger and go for that knee. And I love the apron bomb spot as well, where he, in the end on the outside, he did give it that chop block to the knee, and then he went for the apron bomb, and that's the old Kevin Owens, isn't it? That's like the killer Kevin Owens turned on every friend he's ever had. I love that he couldn't do it. And then when he got back in the ring as well, I was sold, Ben. I was that second stunner KO hit on Cody. I said, this is it. I actually said, this is it. So that's how much it got me into the match, because I was thinking, is the injury a little bit of is it a shoot that he actually is injured? So I was hooked on this.
I like the way they sold that, where it was like, I think Michael Cole had good and bad moments in this night, but that whole thing about, we've been speaking to people in Cody Rhodes' locker room and they're not talking. That doesn't mean it's right or not, but no one's saying anything, which is what would happen, isn't it? With like a Premier League injury, nobody's saying good or bad news, which makes you think, they're trying to keep something in house here. I like the way they sold that.
And even the fact, like James was saying in the chat here, Cody's selling the knee. First, I was watching it with Crewy. First, with me and Crewy said, is Cody trying to like out KO, trying to like play on that and trick him into like playing the thing? And I know that's a bit heelish of Cody, but that's the first thing. So all these things go through your head while you're watching it, and that's the good thing about watching a wrestling match. You get all these different outcomes. I said I was sold, and at the end as well, obviously Cody got the expected win. Before the match started, we all thought, and even the post match where it was just a hug as well. Thought it was a great bit of business, this, and we can move on. And if it ties into it, this is the only thing going forward, Ben, with Cody. We want him in Orton, don't we? But Orton's having such a we do. Everyone wants that match, whether you think it's not going to be. The story's built in for years. People want it. But it's just unfortunate that Randy Orton's in the midst of this babyface run where he's never been as over. Everyone's accepted him. And even he, for years, a decade before, every time he was a face, he always politicked to be a heel again. This is the only time where he probably doesn't want to go heel, but he should do, because that's the story that needs to be told. So it's going to be interesting to see if we actually do get this in the near future. It could be more mid-carders for Cody if Randy doesn't turn, then. So,
Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I mean, there's a mid-carder coming up, but I'll save that conversation for in a second. Simon, that's who's way. Simon, your head's going to be spinning. We can mean a lot of different people, depending on the side of the fence Matty decides he's on in any given argument. But I will say, to go back to the selling, overall, I thought it was good. I like the idea of like doing, James, like you said there, ask whether the seller that he was convincing. I like the idea of like a wrestler trying to pretend they're not injured, because how many times do I say it on this podcast? I'm just not a fan of many iterations of wrestling selling where people walk around like the shot, and it's like, I mean, if you watch any real fight, and we've got UFC as a great example, like that can happen, but a lot of the time people don't want to show that they're hurt, and then it comes out, doesn't it? Like afterwards, oh, actually, what happened? Well, the reason I lost was I had a broken fucking toe, and we're trying to keep it secret. 100%. It was trying to tell that story, wasn't it? So I can almost, maybe that makes Cody's lack of selling a little bit forgivable. I did like the big moment when he went up to the top and obviously his knee buckled. I thought he sold that well as well. On the KO stuff, I think I was a little bit lower on that. I just think there was a good way of doing that and a bad way of doing that. It wasn't the entire bad way, which I think has often been the Ospreay one, where it's just been too much, as far as like, I can't do my move, I don't want to hit my opponent. There was at least, as you say, a little bit of legwork.
This is to his mate as well, though.
Might be like that,
the actual mate.
Yeah, so they skirted that line. He maybe stepped over it a little bit for me, but it being Owens' overall undoing, I think, did work within the confines of what they were doing there, and it meant that it almost in a weird way protected him. I'm sure your mate Steve won't be happy at home, but like Owens got like 4 different near fall finishes with the stunner, and it was like that was the sacrifice move because he didn't do the powerbomb on the apron, because he didn't directly go for the other than that that big moment on the outside. Like that was kind of what they were trying to get across there as well. So,
but also, Ben,
it was a good.
Like I say, if the Orton thing, like we don't know because he's having such a good time, but if that plays into the Orton feud, where like they were a trio, weren't they? So he offered Cody the fight. Is Cody going to offer Randy the fight? And then if he doesn't, is Orton just going to snap it at the first chance? Where KO refused, Randy might just give him the RKO, and then we're off to the races. So there's a lot of ways you can go.
I think that's what they're doing. There's going to be Owen teasing turning, but he's not actually the one who turns, and it is Orton. But again, Orton's having such a good time.
Yes, he is.
That might be
could be mania.
Just sign that 5-year contract. Might be in 4.5 years. You know what I mean? With the way Triple H tells these fucking stories, it might take that long. But yeah, match, I'd go 3.75 on it. I'll
go 4 on this.
Maybe at one point. You go full 4.
I'll go full 4. Really enjoyed it. I bought everything at the end. I really did. Was into it by the end. Loved it. But Cody's best match for me in his title reign. I'll go on record and say that.
I don't know. I enjoyed the Logan Paul match. I don't know if I've rated anything above 3.75, but that's. I mean, I feel like WWE's got the upper limit of 4, so maybe that's.
Well, Dave went 5 on the AJ Leon match, Benno. Didn't you go 5 yourself on that?
Well, on the note of Dave overrating things, is Solo winning a Hell in a Cell? Ramen asks. Like we did say on the weekend show, that was pushed as a direction.
Ben, I'm telling you,
Cole was hitting that over the head that's the next match for Cody. I feel like that's got to be a SmackDown special. Went on USA Network now. The first episode on USA. They can't put that on another pay-per-view.
But I'm telling you, Ben, if they do, Solo's won that title. I'm so convinced. They can't have a carbon copy of Roman coming in and cost him again. I'm telling you, the way they keep on with this, and if he is injured, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting worked here. But if to go on again, and I know Solo's not up there in the pecking order of protected stars, but to put him on again to lose again with the same carbon copy results, I just can't see it happening, Benno. I really just can't. I can see it if that's the match.
I mean, everything they've done in the booking so far has signalled that they clearly see Jacob as a bigger deal, and I think Roman sees Jacob as a bigger deal, and I think Roman wants the Jacob match to be the one they build to. So why would you put the belt on Solo? I think this is, if I'm right and this is a TV match, this is just going, we got a little bit of juice there, we can get away with that, doing that on TV, get that out the way, because it's a match we're not ever going to go back to, because Solo showed his ass in that alleged 4.5-star match at
But also, people, I say it myself, guys, in the chat, it's actually not Hell in a Cell. It's bad blood. No, it's right, though. I'm guilty of it myself. I'm saying, Hell in a Cell. It's because there's probably going to be a Hell in a Cell match, because it's the same date as well, from 1997. October the 5th as well.
Did you see what time it's on? 11 p.m.
That's
still middle of the day for me, mate. That's all right. I'll take that.
You'll be having your Cheerios watching that one, man.
Might be a little Sunday special that week as well. But yeah, all in all, good bit of business, as you rightly said. Into the match I caught up with this morning, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill beating Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. When we went through the odds on the weekend show, this was the most nailed on as far as what people expected the finish to be, and really at the end of the day, a lot of people on the Discord were kind of going to me, I was like, I need to go back and watch that. No, you don't, was the answer I got, and I think that turned out to be mostly true. It was a match. What have you got on this one?
I've just got I thought they give it a good go in the end, though. I like a bit of the stretch, Benno, like they were a bit going for it, all action packed. I think Jade as well, like had a few brighter spots this time than the last time with the Clash of the Castle, where it fell apart a bit for her, didn't it? Where I think she did look better in this one. I think Bianca Belair will always be a star, will always be a great worker for me. Always got like time for Bianca, and even the champions who lost here, I thought did put up a decent show. And this was a better match than I thought going in that it'd be as well. And it was all the outcome was never in doubt. As we said on the weekend show, I think Jay told your Steph, didn't she? Basically, had to get it back at this PLE. I love that. Like
she literally said that. Yeah. She also got asked about AEW and was a lot nicer to Steph than she was to the people asking the questions. I understand it. She's probably sick of answering that question. You were shit in AEW. What was going on? Now it's going well in WWE. What's that about? I mean, I'd argue she's not got much better. This was fine. I feel like with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, like they just need to just pick a lane and decide what they are. Like I get it. They got the nice moment. This felt like they gave them the nice moment in Scotland and they were just putting it off for as long as they could so the Triple H could go, see, it wasn't a token reign, it was a real one, when we all know what it was, which was nice. It was, we said that on the night, it was the right thing for them to do. But yeah, right back around. I just think Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill pretty much dropped off the face of the earth though, and they were the victims of that title change. So you'd like to see them focused a bit more and build to the 10. Survivor Series, WrestleMania. When do you reckon
this is it? This is like, give them like big matches now against like a Damage Control, get like proper like bigger like women stars in there to wrestle them for the tag belts, and then you do build. I think if it was me, I'd build it for WrestleMania. That's a WrestleMania match, isn't it? On face value for sure. Like it's a big women's WrestleMania match. So turn at the Rumble, lose the belts, and then we're off to WrestleMania.
Simon says here, doesn't see how Jade's any better off than WWE. Women's tag titles is the...
slow burn, Simon. Come on, Simon. It's a slow burn.
That's how we do things over on this side, isn't it?
Slow burn.
It's what we do, isn't it, Matt?
It's what we do, yes. We in capitals.
I do think longer term she's in good hands, but she still needs to show a bit of improvement. But
at the same time, sorry to jump.
But
at the same time, not everyone has to work 15, 20. This is AEW's problem for me. People don't have to just go in there and work 15, 20-minute matches to be classed as good. Sometimes you do.
Well, I was saying this about Rhea Ripley. It's the Sid thing, isn't it? Sid died this week. We should all take a lesson. Why was Sid over? Because like he was different and he was interesting, and despite us all as voices of wrestling, really say we could all agree not a very good in-ring worker, but what did he get out of it by being something else?
Yeah,
you can do that, but I still think Jade Cargill needs to come along to the standards of 2024.
But I think that's what I'm saying, because it is 2024, that type of person now, that type of wrestler, like you say, and that doesn't need to go 15, 20. There's not many of them, is there, to be fair, at the same time. So I'm kind of arguing myself here. But I still think just because you don't have to do that, I think there's still a place, me personally anyway.
I think it's a better place for her as well. Like Jade Cargill has had some ropey moments and they've happened hidden away in these tag matches. Just the idea would be she gets better, and then by the time the singles match comes, she can hold her own. But whether that day comes or not, I don't know. 2.5 stars, Matt. Would you go any?
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah. Definitely.
I think that's fair. Well, from there into the third match. The strap match, CM Punk versus Drew.
You take this one away, Benno. I don't know what you think. And then Phil, you go first. You know that. Come on.
Seen this 3 times, I did rewatch it back tonight. Firstly, let me ask you whether this was good or bad. It was going to be like top 3 strap matches of all time, wasn't it? Like in the pantheon of strap matches.
Chain matches, fucking rope matches, anything like that. Yeah, the bar was low going into it, like for them type.
What do you think of the way they do the match? Like, I
hate the lights. I hate the lights, Benno. Why can't the refs
makes a game show, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's insulting our intelligence. The ref should just be counting along, and we believe the referee. Do you know what I mean? We don't need that visual. We really don't.
And it means like it feels like there's too many cooks, because Michael Cole's trying to explain, well, if momentum gets broken, then the lights stop going on. And then when you have that spot where they're both tapping it, he was a bit confused as to what would stop each one's light. And then it adds on to the fact that, like, where's the plausible deniability that Drew McIntyre isn't seeing this giant flashing of cut, because it's the babyface, of course, green light going off as he's tapping in the corners. Like, it had all of those things against it. And I think that is the issue. If they aren't getting a Hell in a Cell match, and I've heard different things as to whether that's coming, and Punk's comments after the show maybe gave the indication that this might well be done, and certainly the way the match went made it feel like it was done. I wasn't sure this match tip, especially in WWE, was going to be suitable to the type of feud they needed. But for me, much better than the SummerSlam match. Like a million miles better. The focus was in the right place. I wasn't even one of the biggest haters of the SummerSlam match. I think I would hold up and say I hated the bracelet stuff. I hated the Seth Rollins involvement, but I did enjoy a lot of the interaction between the two of them. Yes, Punk got gas near the end, but they clearly had a bit of chemistry as far as like the way the spots were laid out and the way they performed them. It made me more hopeful than maybe some that there was something they could do, and this was more like it. This match still feel like there's a peak they could hit as far as like if they did do a Hell in a Cell match or something, just that level above. But it had a lot of what I wanted there. It had a lot of hate. It had a lot of like I said to you on the previous show, a lot of physicality with the strap. You know, yes, you're in a cartoony WWE version of a strap match, but you know what's real? Welts on your fucking back, and there were a few of them in here. I like the way they emphasized, you know, yeah, there's this goofy match we've all got to win by slapping corners, but actually what we both want to do is just hurt each other. They mostly kept that consistent. There was a couple of... Punk does this sometimes. I was watching... might give you a giveaway what my choice might be for dealer's choice, but a bit of Punk and Jimmy Ray for some reason this weekend, Matty.
Oh, okay.
And like there's a cage match they have where they go through a lot of the you know, the Brett and Owen spots from their cage match, and like Punk's spent like 3 months trying to get Jimmy Ray in a cage, and then 5 minutes into the match they're both trying to go out the door and they're both, you know, grabbing each other and pulling each other back, and it's like, hang on, why do you want to get out? I thought you wanted to kill him. Like, what are we doing? They mostly didn't do that. There was the one spot where they were both leaning for the corner, which was late enough in the match that I suppose you can get away.
I was always coming that spot as well.
Yeah, mostly it felt like they were in there trying to hurt each other, and yeah, I liked you know, a lot of the way they used the straps in the corner. I think the goofy thing with Drew carrying Punk round did mostly work. You know, the one where Punk blocked it with the go to sleep, I thought that worked really well as well. I think just in general, but there was one as well, wasn't there, where Punk was about to get the fourth one, and Drew did like the back. It was the world's safest back drop over the top through the table.
Yes,
like I suppose they're near falls, aren't they, in a match like this? And I thought those near falls were all really done well. Maybe we can agree to disagree on, you know, and how they did the finish and the extent to which Punk went over Drew here. Was it like 4 go to sleeps in the end? It was very much a punctuation on the food as well that made me worry a little bit about Drew, who I think has been the MVP of this feud, not Punk. But for me, very much enjoyed it. It was, you know, maybe it's because I'm a punk lover, and I've said it before. I'll take a 70% punk. Yeah. It's still good. It's still good over zero Punk. This felt more like 80% Punk, and because of course we still had the moment at the end with the bracelet. But if that was the only nod to that, I think, and they hadn't done the last match, I think that'd have been fine too. It was close enough to what I want out of Punk that I did get a lot of enjoyment out of this.
See, but this is the thing. Like, I loved the SummerSlam match for the bracelet. I hated Seth's involvement more. So we all knew the bracelet was going to come into the finish of this match. Everyone knew that. So I think if it was just the bracelet, which this was, that's why it was good. As long as Seth was out there, not taking away, like, you know, the shadow from these in the shadow of these two guys. But it was, Ben. Yeah. This was a lot more laid in.
Was he? Which is no, he wasn't. Be.
Exactly, and that's why it was better. But it was intense. He had the bit of blood as well over Punk's eye, which was nice, which was hard way as well, wasn't it? It looked trying to do a Bret Hart there as well of hoodwinking, like, was it hard way? But either way, it worked well. And then Diggs, the short Diggs McIntyre was given that as well, was great in the headbutts, like. Just I love this again. Like as I even loved, because we knew it was coming. Every like strap match we have seen where the heel picks the face up, he taps it, and then Punk's tapping it on his shoulders. I got a kick out of that.
You've always got to do that, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to do it.
Did Sting and Vader do that? I feel like maybe they did.
Of course they did. Austin and Savio done it as well. You know, we've had.
That's in your top three, isn't it?
Yeah, we've
name them fourth and fifth, mate.
But no, it was like you said, Ben. It was everything that the SummerSlam match should have been, really, you know, without Seth, like we keep saying. But and it was a bit definitive, the win. And then with his comments after, I've seen 2 interviews. He had one with Kathy Kelly, one with Jackie Redmond, and he basically says the same thing in both, that like he's coming for Gunther basically. So it's like, is Drew done? You can always go back to the Drew match, the rubber match down the line, don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
Somebody said on our Discord, like, I forget who it was, but like, do you really see Punk beating Gunther? No. So what's your out? And your out might be do that
Drew
match,
costing him.
We've got and big TVs. Again, we got big TVs coming up. You do that on one of the big TVs coming up, and then Drew costs them, and then it's like, for fuck's sake, I thought we were done. Because we're all feeling, as much as I think they've got a better match in them, a more violent match in them, like I've said on the promos for the last couple of months, it's all getting, you know, a little bit done.
You just want physicality. No, Mike. Yeah. Really. That's what we want.
But you could do that, couldn't you, like the week before, and it's like, fuck it, right. One last time, and then we never see each other again. And I put Drew over, to be honest. I think he deserves a reward for how good he's been. Do you ever think you'd hear the day I'd be praising Drew McIntyre? I think his promo work's been great.
Raging listening to this, isn't he now?
He deserves a little bit more for his work than this payoff, as good as a babyface, win it was. And we haven't even mentioned it. We should have mentioned it in the opener. The crowd, how great were they in bringing this up?
That in the opener too. Punk. Like, Punk was over. McIntyre's one of the only people on the card that got booed. Like, genuinely, like, they loved Punk. Like, they were cheering for both, like, every wrestler, really, weren't they? But
Alfie Fresser, mate.
Yeah, he was absolutely loved Punk. But yeah, it was like, and McIntyre himself has lost at all these European pay-per-views, hasn't he? The win-loss record come up at the start, Norton 2 this year, so he's obviously Norton 3 now. But yeah, he's been great. He's been great. And I do think I'm doing a U here. Like, I'm thinking Punk's obviously going to move to Gunther. But what will Drew do after this feud in general? Like, I was trying to book WrestleMania.
The best promo material of his career has been like, I hate you, CM Punk, and we all believe it for that reason. It's not like I've ever rated Drew as a promo before that. Will I still rate him afterwards? That's going to be the question, isn't it? Like, can he make this? Or is this, I suppose, we refer to him as like Tweener Diesel. How long did that last? Like 2 months? Yeah. He's had like 4 out of it, so 6 out of it, or however long it's been.
It's been longer than that. It's been like nearly a year now.
Actually,
and this since like, because he was with Judgment Day at the last Survivor Series, but that's what I mean. I was booking the Mania card, and like, he's the odd one out for me. I was like, well, he can fight him, and I was like, who's he gonna go with after this? It's just intriguing to see what they're gonna do with him. Like, but yeah, they will have a rubber match because it's 1-1, isn't it? But this was definitive. 4 GTSs. It was like, and he took them brilliant as well. Like, he took them on the money.
Yeah, that's rope with the size of Drew compared
exactly.
To Punk, not the only time in there.
Look well, Benno. Don't get me wrong. He looked well, but he looked small. No, I think he looked small. He looked really well. But I think it was the smallest that I think he looked, but he still looked well for it. Like,
they've gone wrong, those GTSs, though, against some missized opponents. So yeah, they were nailed. I think I'm biased. I want to see Punk in big spots. I think at this point in his career, a WWE schedule like this, where he just works the big matches and the odd TV, is going to be perfect for him. He had more cardio than he did last time, and I enjoyed the story they told. I'd go 4 on it. What would you give it, Matt?
I'll give him 4, Ben. I had a great time watching this. Absolutely was into it. As you say, Punk, as you say, taking that table spot, which looked clunky. That's the way he usually takes things. But it is still the fact of every time he goes down, you're scared that he's going to get up injured, aren't you? Every blow he takes, every move.
You should wrap him in cotton wool once a month. Have a match. I know that's good or bad, though. It's like football, isn't it? You want to get a bit of form going and a bit of get the blood going.
Exactly. So. No, but he looked great in there as well. Punk, to give him credit. He looked there.
He needed this after last time.
He needed it.
He gave the haters, myself included, a lot of material last time. So a step up, I'd say, even if we're still not 100% fill. But yeah, from there into the match where we mentioned the crowd there, I would say they were the loudest all night. Maybe apart from one other moment on the show. We had, are they really called the Terror Twins? Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Against
20 years apart for twins as well, aren't they?
Are they really 20? Is that what it is?
well, Rhea's like 25 and Priest like 42. It's nearly
he probably could legitimately be a dad, couldn't he? Like, if we're all honest. Yeah, Rhea and Damian Priest against Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. Call me crazy, but I thought this was brilliant.
This was remarkable, Benno. Like, seriously,
I'm not going to go high from a star rating point of view, although it's the argument we had with you and with Annie on that King of the Mountain show. Well, if you loved it and the crowd loved it, why wouldn't you? But if this was just pure entertainment, I'd say, but exactly what it should have been. Exactly with the pieces involved, Rhea and Damian looking massively dominant. Dominic Mysterio, I've said it a few times now, I get such a kick out of him these days. That shit-eating face he's got getting just smashed in. That's his role, yeah. I actually thought Liv Morgan had a good day at the office for her.
He's ever looked. I was saying this, scale, and I've been down, sorry, Ben, I've been down on Liv Morgan a lot. I think she's coming into her stride as the full package now. The promos as this like ultra heel, the way she's carrying herself, and even in which she nailed it on this night. She was unbelievable all round. Unbelievable.
Yeah, she played her role here brilliantly, and as did Dom. And like the biggest moment in this match for me, because it was a match of moments, and beats there with that like crowd pleasing moments, like the moment when Rhea had like her legs wrapped around
that snake around Dominic. Oh, mate,
people, that should have been, in hindsight, the agents were kicking themselves, going, should have been the finish. That was the peak of the match. That they were so fucking loud because people want to see that. Dominic Mysterio's done an interview this weekend saying he doesn't expect WWE to green light like a singles match between them. I've been 50-50 on it. Like, it's a bit of a it's a bit ropey ground to go along. People who are explicitly lovers, partners, having a fight. Like, that's clearly, what they're worried about, as well as the man versus woman aspect of it. Although there was plenty of that here, as long as, Rhea's on offense, they don't seem to mind. But I haven't watched this. Like, there's got to be a smoke and mirrors way of doing that, Matt, because it's money, isn't it? It's absolutely money. It won't hurt Dom. It'll massively help Rhea. It's better than anything Rhea could do in the women's division. It's just a match with Dom. I think the reasons to do it maybe outweigh the reasons not to, and I think this match was a great example of it, Matt.
And if they are going to do it, I think Netflix is probably the best. That Raw on Netflix, like a big like attraction type match like that. If you, as you say, if you're trying to build it like that, would be the way to go. But honestly, this match, I didn't expect it to be laid out like this at all. I went into this thinking this is going to be a basic squash, them keeping Ron running away, but it ended up being like an action packed, and it built and built and built to this with the new Judgment Day. Like, always got the numbers game, always there for each other. And even when them run-ins come in, they were timed to perfection. Some of the sequences at the end with Carlito and Finn Balor coming in they just nailed it so well. I've honestly had a great time watching this. Obviously, the right people went over as well, but these even times in this, I bought the kneel fall when Balor come in and give Priest the sling blade and Dom hit the frog splash. I thought, oh no, these have won here. So they kept me on edge with who was going to win. Honestly, thought this exceeded expectations, and then some. Everyone looked great in this one, Ben. Like, everybody did.
Yeah. It was a perfect match for all of the characters that are in there. And it's one of those, isn't it, where, like, when the agent is bad, that's usually when you hear about, like, oh, fucking hell, these agents tonight, they laid out the same finish 4 or 5 times the other night.
Yes.
This was a match agents into death and planned out to death because of the limitations of some of the people in it. And it couldn't have been executed any better.
But even like Liv hitting the sunset powerbomb off the steps into the barricade, Rhea took that like some of the spots, and it was just that chaoticness that you need, and that this match needed going in. Because as I say, going in, I just thought this was going to be a basic squash. We're going to move on. They're going to get to come up into the heels. But honestly, I was so blown away with how well laid out this was. Fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Feel good as well, isn't it? Like when Damien Priest and Rhea kind of hug at the end, you believe it, don't you? It's like, they really like each other, and they're happy they won, and it's just a nice
Damien Priest, moment, what a fella, Ben. I've said this a lot. Like, with this documentary, if anyone hasn't watched it, go and watch it, because it's a great story, and he deserves what he gets going off that documentary.
You were a fan back in the ROH days, weren't you? Punishment
Martinez, yeah. Like him since he come on the main roster as well, to be fair. He's always been semi-protected as well, especially under Triple H more now, so fair play to him. And obviously him and Balor's the big one once again, Ben, probably doing your arguments. On paper, does anyone really want to see Finn Balor be Damien Priest from in-ring thing?
I want to see story-wise.
No, but for story-wise, this is the match. I was trying to tell Crewy that this is the match the fans want to see. And dare I say, I'd hold that off to WrestleMania. I'd milk it as much as you can and have that as a WrestleMania match. For the story watchers like us who've watched it for 3 years, it's a big match. It is.
Oh no, my nose now is we become. Look what's happened to me, folks. Well, from there, luckily it's a short card. We go from again. Look, what would you give it star rating wise? Actually, did you have a number?
I probably, you know what, Ben? I'm going
4.
I'm going 4. I'm a 4 across the board. No, honestly, I had, because it exceeded my expectations on every aspect, and I had such a laugh and a great time watching it. It's got to be 4 stars. And with you and with an E, just go 4, Benno. Come on, you had a great time.
Yeah, maybe 5 on entertainment value, definitely. It's a philosophical question for the next grapple with philosophy. We'll get there. Well, from there we go onto our main event, and like I say, this card did fly by. If you were watching on fast forward, off on the way to watch. If you're not in the building, Gunther versus Randy Orton. I
reckon this is going to be divisive. This one, as I say, I haven't read nothing. But going off what you're saying, and a few of the the comments in the chat here, I think people didn't like this overall.
Well, hang on. Right, it's just finished now. It's over. Right, we can talk about it. Let's go. Fucking hell.
Right. Go on.
I reckon Gareth will like this. I do think Gareth will like this. 100%. I think you'll be bang into this. So I don't think it's just, someone like you that's got more time for Randy Orton than someone like me. I think there was something here. Before we get to the match, let's say the setup was great. Like Orton, again, Orton's entrance has just ended also. That went almost
what an entrance though, Ben. I was in
soaking in, though, he loves it. He loves these like loud but boisterous crowds singing a song, all of that. He was proper soaking that in. That was good moment. Gunther coming out, the commentary were going, he's, typical Stoneface Gunther. he looked like he was wobbling. He looked emotional to me. Like, I've not seen him like that. Like, you could see he was keeping it together. And I think that was a good moment for him. The Ludwig Kaiser interruption for the intro was great as well. You knew the German crowd would be bang into that. If anything, they were louder for the English parts than the German parts. I don't know what that says. We were saying this in our group chat, weren't we? You got to give the Germans some credit. You know, we always say, like, when we talk to Hamflet, like, for us, is like, as a UK fan base, we're more hardcore than most. That's why we've supported the TNA. That's why, you know, the more hardcore favourites, like a Kurt Angle or whoever, always seems to get more over. Bret Hart, obviously historical, gets more over in here, because there's a high barrier to entry, isn't it, to be a wrestling fan? You have to stay up to silly o'clock to pick up this stupid hobby that's not easy to track down. Germans have to stay up an hour even later, you know, and they had DSF, mate. They saved my teenage years, you know. DSF with if only I'd known about the WCW pay-per-views on there in real time with the Nitros, that would have changed my youth. But I was on the teletext getting my spoilers, mate. They were banging to it, watching ECW on there on the old what was it called? Not digital, analog Sky back in the day. These are hardcores of hardcore wrestling fans, and the reason I bring it up is, like, watching this, we were talking about it and was like, you know, you're kind of looking at the people there thinking, is this basically the same fan base of people that, like, I'd see it like a WXW weekender or something like that? I guess it is, because it sounds like it, but I think there's just their larger population of wrestling fans, and, you know, the fans who probably haven't even heard of WXW or GWF or whichever German company you want to name, are also super hardcore fans, and, you know, are there and gonna be this loud, and probably knew their history, but it was still, you know, a nice moment to see both of them get that reaction.
Oh, 100%, mate. As you say, this is why this match was, for me, it was such a big time atmosphere, big time feeling for this match with them entrances that just added, and the fans going wild for it. And even going into the match a little bit, usually a Mexican waves like a denouncing a match. I think they were just happy to, like, do it in tribute to the match. For me, that's what I took from it anyway. And even Orton soaked that Mexican wave in, didn't he? And even tried to get Gunther to do it. And Gunther, like, looked at him, was like he was doing the old Jerry Seinfeld, but he was trying not to laugh, but he kept it together and was like, no, I'm not doing it. Do you know what I mean? But I got a kick out of that.
There was a line there, though, and I don't know whether they crossed it or not, in that, like, I think, because I've been in German crowds at WXW, there was like a big Bobby Guns chant that got over, and it would take over matches sometimes. And, like, there was a danger of that at the start of the match. And Orton, being the worker's worker he is, the pro's pro he is, the footwork maestro, like, you to sit out and let it kind of take its course and not try and work against it. Because that's happened to him. Like, Punk chants have killed his matches, haven't they, in the past? Like,
Fandango chant night after Mania's, he's kicked off. Like, shows you how he's matured in there as well.
So we felt like, he's like a vet, like, I'll show I'm enjoying it. Get your shit out the way, and then. But it did elongate the match like another 10 minutes. And it did make the match feel a little bit house show, in that, you do this at a house show, but, like, lights are on here, Randy. You're on fucking Peacock or whatever. Let's go with the match. And I don't know. What's your take on the match? Like I say, there's mechanical things in there with Gunther and Orton that I think a Gareth type is going to enjoy, that I got some enjoy out of. But they did lose me about 20-25 minutes in. There was too much of it. It went too long. I liked the story they told. It was quite intricate for a WWE match. You know, basically Orton trying to take out Gunther's hand, and he couldn't use the chops to. Not that he uses them as much in WWE anymore, but it killed that and his striking in general a lot. There was a clear, methodical story they were telling there. But I think the negative of veteran Randy Orton being there, who does bring some positives, is that some of his worst habits, and some of Triple H's worst habits, to be honest, it reminded me a bit of some of his main events, was they just laboured the point a bit for me, and I just think 37 minutes or whatever it ended up being, the amount of time they were out there, was just too long.
I think I like the methodical aspect. You know me, overall, Ben, I like the fast-paced match, but you got to see who's in there first and foremost. You're not expecting, action-packed, fast-paced action, are you, with these two? So you know what you're getting yourself in for in this, especially at Randy Orton's age and is the peak of his the stage of his career now. But I do agree in the fact of 20 minutes in, I was enjoying it. I was like, well, this is slow-paced. But then the bit where it took Orton like 7 minutes to, like, go to the outside, set the stairs up, that kind of killed the flow. Even though the flow wasn't, as I say, action-packed and fast-paced, it just killed the flow in general of the match, and was like, that was just a bit too long for even me. And I get they were building to the big spot where Gunther went through the table, and then they did get themselves back. But that, like, 5 minutes wasn't necessary for me. Other than that, I thought they told the great, even with Orton's neck subtly as well. It was all about Gunther's hand, but Orton's neck all the way through, which played into the fact of that big chop at the end when he got the pass out, was just expertly done. So in that aspect,
yeah,
hats off to them. But it did. There was about 5-6 minute period. It was like, come on, Randy. I know you're selling, but come on.
There was a moment where you could see, like, Gunther was trying to do that kind of, I'm going to hit you with 3-4 things in a row, big offense, and he wanted to do that, like, drop kick in the corner, and Orton took about 3 years to get up, and you could, I swear you could see Orton mouth to him, slow down, and I think, no, don't, this is where you speed up, and Orton just doesn't have that in his locker. I mean, the elephant in the room is Orton himself, as Simon says here, like, Sandy, Big Randy isn't doing fast-paced, like, this is the biggest he's been, like, and it's getting ridiculous now.
It's 290 now, like that is like that's scary.
It's mostly muscle, but he's on a bulk. Clearly, he's clearly put a little bit of extra weight on the top of the muscle, which I don't think his frame can handle. Because like he was like from when you saw him like from behind with like the pleather trunks on, he's like twice as wide as Orton, as Gunther now as well, and it's like I almost think that's working against. We've had that conversation many times, but Gunther's size against that, and it's like Garrett's big point about Gunther was he thought he should change, his working style, and I would, we've had arguments about that. Orton almost needs to start working like he's fucking, I don't know, Vader, like he should be the big man in the territory. Like it's a piss take at this point, isn't it? No, and that's probably part of the pacing, and it adds to it as well. Fair play for having the cardio for go this long, even at that pace. But
you know what,
it was a little bit of a detriment.
I think this is the Gunther thing as well. Like, obviously, I seen him on the indies here, and you guys are well more advanced on Gunther than me. And everyone, but I've liked these last 2 matches though for the fact of it's not just him being the bully. Now, whether that is his size playing into it, like Priest wasn't having his shit, he got give it right back to him. Orton dominated most of this match, didn't he, with the hand stuff? I like to see different sides.
More equals, I'd say, but that was a tactical domination, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but it's just good to see just in the storytelling and the layout side that he can do other things. Because all right, it's great seeing him chop everyone, but we've seen it for nearly a decade now. For me, you've got to, especially with him losing the size as well, you've got to mix it up. It's just it's necessary for me, especially on a bigger stage like WWE as well. So, but at the same time, he couldn't have come across any more of a bigger star. A clean as a sheet win.
I'm glad the win was definitive. That was important.
Passed them out. The acknowledgement after as well, the handshake, which was a nice touch. Like they're going all the way with Gunther, and fair play. He's come across amazing, and he's handled his part even on the promos and such as well as a TV character, which I'm big on. You can't just be in ring. You've got to carry yourself on TV. He's been incredible in that as well. So, did you ever think you'd see the day, Benno? Gunther as your world champion, getting protected to the hilt as one of the main guys. Like, it's great to see.
Yeah, we always say it. It's one of the craziest success stories, and, that's just credit to him as well that, he's changed his look in a lot of ways, but his style hasn't massively changed. And I think the way he carries himself, he's more serious than everybody else. It makes his matches feel more important because he thinks it's important. Like, there's something about him that's just like, just by being not that typical WWE guy has made him like a much more marketable and better. He's gonna have this belt for fucking years now, and he's gonna have this belt.
He's still Mania.
He should though. He shouldn't lose it. There's no reason to, is there? If they are doing the Punk match, there's no reason to switch it to him. It's right that he holds on to it. So, yeah. Again, there were bits I liked about the match, but again, a shorter version of it would have enjoyed more. I would have said 3.25 seems harsh. I'll probably go 3.5. I'm always somewhere between. I'm an indecisive man, Oh, that's
if
the
that 5 minutes.
I thought you go 5.
Yeah, if that 5 minutes weren't in there setting it up, I would have went 4.25 because I'm a big Randy Orton. You know me, Ben. I've had tears watching these crowds lap Randy Orton's song up. Like I've been giving him his flowers for years. It's just good that like the wrestling universe is giving him his flowers finally now. Even his haters are giving him.
Even I can tolerate him now. Like, it's just like, is that just me getting older? Is that all it is? Like, I'm like Christian, Randy Orton, just footwork, hard cam work. It's so important, lads. I'll turn into a Robbie Brookside fan soon. That's how come.
But it is. So obviously I was into it, but obviously, Ben, I'm an honest man. I'm a fair and honest man, as much as you don't think I am. That 5 minutes,
you're not. He's not. Don't let him fool you, YouTube people.
It was a bit too much for even me. But they got it back with the clean finish at the end and the handshake and passing of what is it? Passing of the torch or the nod in
It's a bit weird that one. It was like no one knew what to do because the press afterwards, Triple H apparently just rushed home and wasn't there. But like,
I don't think he was there all weekend. We'll go into that in a bit.
You could see the ref. Oh, it's like his own house, innit? He's never there either. But you could see the ref like directing Gunther, like stay in the ring, and then they both just stood there awkwardly. And then it went to like to the lads on commentary to do the wrap up of the show, and it was I feel like was Gunther supposed to stand in the ring on his own? Did Orton want that round of applause? Was Gunther trying to leave him to it and got told he couldn't? It did have a bit of a weird ending, but. Yeah, there we go. That was the pay-per-view. That's it. It feels like there should be 4 more matches to talk about.
No, but that's it. Yeah. It's a 5-match card, which, as you say, was condensed to 90 minutes for yourself without all the packages and stuff. So, but sometimes these are needed, Benno. I think it hit the high spots of everything that needed to be done, and we move on to the next month. I think it was just, but it delivered and then some for me in most of the matches as well. So, thumbs up show for sure. This, Ben.
Do we miss something from your boys in the Bloodline being the focus of the TV so much and then not being on these big weekend shows? Obviously, they were pushing the fact there's going to be the tag defense and SmackDown. I reckon if you added that, that's what always been my point. I'm not against short shows. I'd just go 6, not 5. If you say you added that, and don't get me wrong, I am not wishing for Tonga Loa to be in there. But if you give me a Bloodline tag with Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, I think that would round things out a little bit nicer than what we got. But
at the same time, if that didn't deliver, then you're saying, well, people will be saying, well, you didn't need to say that if the match quality come down, you know what I mean? Because out of the 4 out of the 5 matches, what are we saying there? The 4 at the high notes. There was only 1 that was really not great, but it wasn't awful. So I don't know. You're adding more to it.
Consistent card.
By what's the average law of averages or whatever we're saying here. So it wasn't consistent, but you're right. It's an 8-man tag in it. The building 2 on SmackDown, the Bloodline, the DIY, and the Street Profits going to be on TV. So I like that aspect though. At the same time, then you're saying they should be on the thing, but they're building big matches for the TV. And as you say, with this new TV deal coming in a couple of weeks, they're building to hopefully even more bigger matches. So I'm not going to say any faults at the minute with the Fed, of course, because I think they're nailing everything out the park and then some. Like the way they're structured anyway.
It was a show for me that if you watched it, I think mostly you get enjoyment out of it. But if you skipped it, you're probably all right. Maybe puncture aside, I'd say go back and watch.
It's your investment, isn't it? If you're into it as much, then I think you've got to watch it because you're paying off some of the Judgment Day stuff. You're paying off the TV, obviously, that you've been watching. So your investment there. But if you're coming in and you're not,
there weren't big stories where there was
no, there wasn't no one come back, no turns, no none of that stuff. It was a pretty much literally a match heavy, card, wasn't it? It was the opposite to SummerSlam in a way, wasn't it? No, but it was. Yeah. It was the opposite to SummerSlam where you had all your story but that was like as your summer reset of your summer mania where you have your turns, your all your big angles and your story, and now we're back into Cody, Curtain-jerking Benno defending the title. Let's see if we can get into the main events.
Someone rightly pointed out before, by the way, Royal Rumble last year.
That was a 4-way. That way the singles, Will. I see that. That way the singles. It was a fatal 4-way, Will. So
Oh, right, that makes a difference. Yeah, of course it does. Well, coming out of the show, obviously the big headline, obviously, is the apparently another record gate, which Cody donned his EVP suit to tell us. We're pissed myself laughing. One, the Triple H clearly was like, oh, it's whatever, I can skip this. This is just a German house show, innit? And 2, the Cody's like, no, Nick Khan, you stay at home too, mate. I'll put my suit on. I'll put my brown Tony Khan jacket on, and I'll go out and give the numbers. He fucking loves it, doesn't he? He does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody made that joke, like somebody like Nick Khan had read Cody's CV finally and was like, hang on, you were an EVP of a mega gigantic corporate. Oh, right, yeah, sound, yeah, you can do the job. But yeah, they announced it during the show as well, didn't they? In the Uber Arena.
Yeah.
Great name for the play. I assume that's to do with Uber Eats. Just
I was going to say, Benno, though, like Triple H, was he there? He wasn't there because he wasn't on the kickoff thing on Friday. My ears went up with that, and I was thinking he's usually the first out at these. Why isn't he there? He'd usually come out on the pay-per-view. I don't think he was there all weekend. No chance.
Bit of an odd
Unless someone's seen him,
you think he'd be doing the lap of glory, with this the crowd going mad for, we paid loads of money for tickets, get in for the
gonna cost more next time as well.
30,149, mate, which is about only 40,000 less than what AW did last weekend. But
can you get tickets for £2.75 on Bashable? No, you can't. Let's be honest. No, you can't, Bella. Let's not go there.
We're an HS hero, like
we're trying to get on these days. We're trying to get on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, that means whatever it means at this point. It's like, yeah, okay. They could every show like this is the new record now.
They're gonna say it, aren't they? Every
Continues
time.
to put those prices up.
I'm pretty sure it is, Ben. I'm pretty sure they're not lying. But even if they wasn't, they're gonna say that, aren't they? Or they're gonna say something along them lines. I mean, it is. I don't love it at the fact of like it is just showing off. Or say I don't like press conferences in general. I think there should be one or the other. Like we've all said, either be kayfabe or be real. Like be something not in between. And I skipped them at this point, mate. I don't even bother with them, to be honest with you.
I thought the presser was a mixed bag in that Triple H not being there just takes the target away, doesn't it?
Of course, yeah.
There were half the press. It was kind of typical. Not even half. It was probably like 70% of the press in this one were asking kayfabe questions. Which again, I don't. What outlet is getting anything out of that? Oh yeah, Gunther said he wants to beat more people up. Like, is that going to be front page story? Like, it's not a story, is it? But somebody did ask him, to be fair, on Gunther about, like, somebody mentioned Zack Sabre Jr. winning the G1, Will Ospreay's success, and Gunther didn't really reference them, but talked about European wrestlers being the best, which is nice to, real life, answer there. Talked about how he enjoyed the crowd reaction there, specifically for Ludwig Kaiser. I thought that was good. Obviously, most notable and most seriously, with no Triple H there. I have to get the name of the media who asked Cody Rhodes the question, but Cody Rhodes was directly asked about Vince McMahon and the lawsuit against WWE included, and was asked directly, "Do you believe Janelle Grant?" And when he didn't answer it, fair play, follow-up question, asked him again, "Do you believe Janelle Grant?" And he didn't come across great at the start because he tried to like make a joke about, oh, well, I won't be watching the Vince McMahon documentary because I've got Game of Thrones to watch. And then he just gave it, we all focus on our wrestling and our performances, therefore we see about as much of this stuff as you do. And then when he was followed up on, he did, dodge the question and just say, I don't have enough information to answer that question. The bar is low. Still did better than Triple H in that circumstance, like he did. Yeah. Like Shawn Michaels didn't give a great account of himself on that NXT conference call not long ago when he was asked directly, but he answered better, when he was asked about his own allegations than Cody did. And yeah, that's why you put people in these situations, because they're just there. If Cody wasn't so savvy, if Cody had just said, well, I should say, yes, I believe Janelle Grant, well, yeah, and said that, what a gigantic story that would be. It would give the story more attention. Like, that would be a story in itself that Cody offered that opinion. Like, that's why these questions are asked, and it got dodged on this occasion, but you don't know whether it will on the next. And with Triple H being so shit at dealing with the media, it's worth asking these questions because you don't know what you might get on record. And again, fair play to the couple of upstanding members of the media that did ask those serious questions.
Yeah, 100%. It should be the way forward to say you either ask all the serious questions or keep it in the thing. But the more serious, the better, of course, Ben. Of course.
And just moving on quickly, speaking of serious, the Roman Kevin Owens Royal Rumble match was a last man standing, not a 4-way. That wasn't a main event.
I keep seeing this, and I'm not moving the goalposts, but that's the Royal Rumble, lads. This isn't a 5-match card in Berlin or Glasgow or Leon.
With the most famous... Their biggest star, German wrestler, who's also a world champion.
But it's the Royal Rumble, isn't it? That's the main event. And as you said, Ben, the other day, did you like them 90s pay-per-views when the main event was after the Royal Rumble? No, I don't care. It was Hulk Hogan or fucking Steve Austin. The Royal Rumble's the main. Come back more, Simon. Come on, Will. I want more. Come on.
There you go. Just move those goalposts, Simon. Simon knows you well. Other quick news notes before we do get out of here with this quick Sunday special. WrestleMania 2026 apparently not in Philadelphia is something we also learned across the weekend. Matty, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro had maybe talked out of his arse, and I reckon what he did. That thing when like you talk to like older people or people in your family about wrestling, everything's WWE, and to him when he said WrestleMania, he probably just meant WWE. He just doesn't know the difference.
He meant to show.
Probably still listening to Undertaker wrestle there. Oh yeah, we've got WrestleMania next year, which is like a WWE house show in fucking Penn State somewhere. That's probably all that was, but we still don't know. And tickets still are on sale for WrestleMania 25. Sort that out.
That's what we're making.
I mean, it's just not, is it?
No, fair enough. Okay, maybe not. But yeah, as you say, we're jumping the gun. As you say there, I want these fucking WrestleMania tickets to go on sale. They usually come out. I know they're hot, and I know like they used to come out earlier. But I know they'll probably sell out if they release them in like December. But we need a release date now, just for my own good, please, because I can't be fucking dealing with this. I want to get them booked. I want to get me fucking trip sorted for sure, Benno. Should be in the next month, surely. They can't keep waiting, can they?
You think, but again, I was looking at it. Allegiant Stadium's like what, 70-odd thousand with the NFL pitch on it. Add another 10, 50, you'll be fine, mate. You'll get a seat.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
All
They'd
right.
have to beat all in last year for you to not to. And maybe with this great business, it's that joke, isn't it? I went in May of 2022 when Double or Nothing was on. You were supposed to be running Money in the Bank at Allegiant Stadium and had to cancel it because they weren't selling the tickets. This time out, they'll sell a lot more, but they'll be giving them away on the strip, mate. You'll be able to get them free at most of the casinos. You'll find.
Oh, sad.
You'll find a way in.
Oh, I'll find a way in. Yeah, I'll be there, like, but it should not do good for my own, my own sanity. I just want that, want it all boxed off.
Quick run down some other quick news notes. Lisa Marie Vachon, the former Victoria, signed to do they're calling them nostalgia deals now rather than. I thought Legends was a good marketing term. It was it was definitive, wasn't it? There's the main roster, there's wrestlers we actually use, and then there's Legends. It's what we give the old ones. Is like almost like it's basically a pension in it, but without the strings attached.
But it's one of them. Nostalgia is the key word in the world these days. And everyone loves a bit of nostalgia, so I can see that aspect of it. But yeah, Legends just sounds well better. Well, Ben, I know we've got him in the chat now, Ben. He's watching his ears and his eyes are always on us at all times.
Yeah, Gunther and Randy Orton had a boots and trunks match for 35 minutes. He's banging to that now. Elimination Chamber 2022, Roman versus Goldberg was in the opener. Loads of examples here, Matty. I've got a WWE trivia book I've been meaning to bust out for you. I'm going to start doing that every time you get a WWE fact wrong. I'm going to make you answer the question. That could be our new gimmick. Other stuff that happened over the weekend, JBL made a surprise appearance at TNA Emergence. Again, speaking of the Legends deal, pensions ran out there, ain't it? What's he done now? TNA. He was in NWA as well, wasn't he? Turned up there. He was at GCW last week.
GCW, yeah.
What's going on there?
But I don't know if the tweet was legit he put out, but he was saying he's on a scouting mission. It's not financial reasons why he's on a scouting mission for WWE to see what talent around the indies. But do you reckon he's a bit skint? He can't be skint, can he, JBL, the self-made millionaire?
Don't know. Maybe just he's chasing those pops, he misses it or something like that. He's on the
Platt, give it, lad.
We're getting a lot of Roman Reigns versus Seth.
Yeah, 3 years ago. That's what 3 years ago.
Roman versus Ray was oh, that doesn't count, does it?
No.
That's what you all say. Nothing but the last 18 months, apparently. And yeah, Bram BTC3 for the NWA title. None of us are going to be watching that. Kaito Kiyomiya did win the M1 tournament. I'm sure JP will be covering that in a midweek news dump as well. As Agawa did completely bury Kaito Kiyomiya in a despite victory, because that's what Noah does. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Rampage and Collision was over the weekend, but I'm sure you'll catch up on them, Matty, when it comes. I heard good things about Collision last night. Looking forward to catching up with it. The big rate tag looks like it delivered.
I heard the crowd was hot for what bit of a crew haven't I? We chat now. He fills me in on the ECW. What the hell?
I mean, you're on a wrestling podcast every week, mate. Yeah. So you should probably
no, it is. But you know what? Do you know what match he bigged up really? And you won't believe this because he actually watched it for the sins, but he said it was really good. He said the Nick Nemeth, Josh Alexander, and I thought it was 30 minutes. The 60-minute Ironman match, he said was fucking very, very good. He genuinely said it was good.
Watching on double speed, like
you do. You watching all of that?
I'm watching 60 minutes of that.
I mean, it was good, lad. But he loved Collision as well. He was big in Collision up, and said it was a better crowd than. And I read that as well. That it was a better crowd than usual. But yeah,
Connor's in the chat here to tell us off for not covering the 5-star Grand Prix. That will be covered, of course, on the JP Midweek News. Look forward to that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This, Matty, for a nice little quick and snappy Sunday night special. Enjoyed this. Could do a few more of these if they prove popular. Maybe not just for the Fed pay-per-views, but we can see.
Yeah, of course, Ben. We'll pencil that Bad Blood one in, won't we, for next month?
I think so. 11 o'clock Saturday night. We'll be able to review that on the Sunday. I think that's a nailed on one.
And you know what? We didn't have as much conflict as well. Ben. We didn't have as much conflict.
Not a bloodline on the show, was there? I was open for more argument for them.
Wait till Solo and Cody happens next month, and then we'll have the big discussion.
Because we're genuine, mate. We take our genuine positions, and when we rub up against each other, we do. When we agree, we do too. But there we go. But yeah, obviously Dealer's Choice Month coming up. So yeah, look forward to that on the Patreon. We'll be hitting the hard sell mode for that. Every Dealer's Choice show will be live for our live patrons this month. Technical issues notwithstanding, we should be able to resolve that and make that work. So yeah, looking forward to everybody's picks on that. Tam will be out on the public feed on Tuesday. I know JP's hard working on that, as well as the edit of our live show. So we should get that at some point as well. Anything else to plug, Matty? Anything else we got coming up?
No, that's what we're saying. Maybe, Benno, maybe a sneaky episode of Retro at the end of the month as well, coming up in September. So, yeah, that's what we're there for. But I'm looking forward to Dealer's Choice month so much. Always one of the best, as you say, couple of months of the year, because we do it twice a year. But it's always interesting to see what the lads pick. And no one's threw anyone under the bush yet. We've all been pretty, like, haven't we, in like 2 years we've been doing this?
Mostly.
Yeah, we mostly have been level-headed with it and not picking out of there. I'm scared to do that first. You see, I don't want to do that first. So, always safe choices. But no, brilliant stuff. So if you're having
Garrett's in the chat, he might not have it at the start of first, mate. So get your thing.
Yeah, Gareth, you're first, mate.
We'll be revealing that on the weekend show this week. So yeah, no spotlight, time and its place, but that's the one program I noticed I didn't mention. We should be doing a weekend show on Thursday to give people time to do their homework for that first Dealer's Choice show. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Get more where that came from, patreon.com/grapple, or if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube, or if you really want to support us, become a member right here as well. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to our patrons for another month. Thank you to our live patrons, and thanks mostly to our Kings of the Mountain, Conor Laughlin, Eddie Sideburns, Chris Platt, Ewan Cameron, and Carl Gack. We will catch you once again next week.
Say that.
Good night, all.